Check, check, check. Welcome back to You're in the Frame with Mike Ford. My name is Mike Ford. This is the show about what it's like to be a working photographer in 2025, an ongoing series partnering with my friends at Album Studios and Equipment here in Toronto. Please check me out at fordphoto.ca. And now we're going to talk about custom flares. This is part 2 of our custom flare show. Last week, we shot a whole bunch in Album Studio X, and this week we're going to share them. I'm going to share them, exactly what we did, how we did it, and what you might want to use these for. You can do it yourself. I'm going to throw a freebie, a drop in below. I'm not able to have clickable links yet, according to YouTube, so you'll have to copy and paste that action. Let's jump in. Let's see. This is always a little bit of a mix up here. Boom, boom. There we go. Look at this. This is the first one right out of the gate. Fabulous. My gosh. So just beautiful flare here. These are all shot around f22, f16. That's when you get the kind of the crispy elements kind of doing their thing. Played around with focal lengths a little bit. The first few here are focused primarily on the light itself. You can see the stand right here is pretty much tack sharp. And then the flare just kind of reaches towards the lens. So you'll have to do a little bit of Photoshop here, getting rid of that stand if you needed to. But these are to accentuate existing flares you might already have in your shots. These are to add effects. You can mess with the opacity. You can make it bigger. You can make it smaller. There's just a lot of things to do with these. Let's keep going. Here's the setup. So pretty lo-fi. We have some foam core, some black foam core on either side, a 12 by 12 black with one stand and one pro photo head blasting right at the camera. We're using an R5 with a variety of different lenses. There's the same setup again. They're actually V flats. But you get the idea. Even this is actually going to be a great one. Because when you go into Photoshop and you put the blending mode into screen, a lot of this black, or almost all of the black, will just disappear. So the stand will be an issue for sure. All this stuff up here will be an issue. There's a little bit of fabric here that may show up. You'll have to see, or we'll have to see, I'll have to see what happens, if that actually shows up. But you're going to be using this in a mask anyway. You're going to be painting these in different opacities, different flows. I'm a huge fan of flow over opacity when you're painting. Tip of the day, flow is way better than opacity when you're using the brush. And just in case you're using a mouse, get yourself a pen. It's a million times easier. Ooh, yes. Getting sci-fi, getting 2001 Space Odyssey, Back to the Future. I love it. This is so cool. Lots of neat stuff you can do here. Again, if it's an architecture shot, if it's a portrait and there's a light leak, there's just some really neat instances where you could use this. A lot of this happening here, which is, I don't really know what that is. I don't know enough about the internal mechanisms of lenses to tell you what that is, but it's pretty cool. A couple of different variations there. Look at this one, really cool. How is we doing for sharpness? So the stand and the light are still sharp here, and you got this beautiful blue, orange, green reaching towards the lens. All kinds of neat stuff happening over here as well. So this one's actually really nice because you won't have too much to deal with in terms of Photoshop, especially when you put it in a layer on screen mode. Another kind of variation, really neat stuff happening here. I hope I didn't fry my sensor. Oh boy, nice. All very cool stuff. Ooh, look at that. Look at these colors. So cool. And it's authentic. It's real. It's happening in your camera. So you don't have to create these in Photoshop or try and fake it. You have a real asset that's been captured in super high res. So that is the advantage of having your own assets. Absolutely. And different angles, different focal lengths. I think these are still all pretty much focused. Yeah, look at how sharp that is. Still focused on the lens, sorry, on the stand. Looks like we're starting to fall off a little bit here. Look at this, almost like you're underwater. Very cool. So very neat right there. Okay, this is an interesting one. This is when I'm starting to pull back the focal. So I'm starting to focus a little further away, like closer to the camera. So less on the stand, more kind of in front of the camera. And you can see, like, what is this? Are these, I mean, these look like C's on all the elements. Now, again, I don't know a lot about spherical elements and stuff like that, but it's a Canon lens, and these are C's, I think, right? Look at this. Am I crazy? Did Canon stamp this on all their glass? I'd like to know more about that. So really good stuff here. These are all shot at, oh, so we're pulling back focus a little bit here. So it does change ever so slightly. The changes are subtle for sure. This is a really nice one. Look at all this action. It's not very hard to get rid of these stands in post either. This one's a little narrow. Oh, perfect. A little bit of action back there, but not to worry. So how's the stand here? So we're pulling out of focus just a little bit. If we pull too much in focus, it looks like we're going to get just all of these elements like super sharp, and we'll just see the C's, which is like not really good. This is really nice in here. I think I shot some of these at f16. I believe that was a mistake. I would shoot these all at f22. So here I am pulling focus quite a bit. You can see the stand isn't even close to being sharp. But now we're getting little different elements here that are sharp, right? So as the light kind of reaches towards the lens, we're changing our focus. And it doesn't have to be sharp. I mean, it's a lens flare, right? Like, it doesn't have to be anything. It just has to be this funky, kind of crazy thing that may or may not add value to our work. So that's really what this is all about. Too much pulled focus or too out of focus, and it starts to focus on the wrong things. I think this might be, we're getting a little bit like an underwater, kind of maybe even a little too blurry here. This is a really nice one. This has got some nice elements to it. Where are we here? Still a little out of focus on the stand. So this is cool. I like the color here. We'll have to see what happens. I don't really know why it's this color. Different lenses are going to do different things. It's hard to really say. This is a really nice one. Woo! Lots of cool stuff happening here. Love it. Wow. Yeah, there's some fun stuff here for sure. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's so rad. That's even a picture on itself. Look how cool that is. Woo! Lots of fun stuff here. This giving me a little bit of dust on the lens. Who knows what that could be? My gosh. But this is all working, You play with a little blend if as well. And if you don't know what blend if is, go look it up because blend if is fantastic. Let's see if I can do this one more time. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, we're live. We're back. So there's a look at what we did. I think definitely there's some good ones in there, some that I could use. And I'm going to pop one in below so you guys can have a look at it and try it yourself. I think next time I would make sure I'm locked at f22. And I think I would try different kinds of lenses. We stuck with the RF glass, which is Canon's new glass. Goes along with its mirrorless line. The lenses are fantastic. Oh my gosh, we had a wide, a 15-85, and my own lens, which is a 24 2.8. So we used all of those. Hard to say which one is which, just looking at those. Excuse me. But I think I'd do it again, and I'd like to do it with a different camera. That's not my own. Maybe I'll rent another camera. But do some EF glass, some older lenses, like just to see what kind of, old lenses, even EF glass from, a decade or so ago. There's little nuances in there that aren't going to be found in the ones that we just shot. So something to keep in mind if you want to do this yourself. I think I might do it one more time. in the next little while just to see. And yeah, so there it is, custom flares. My gosh. It's a great tool to have in your toolkit. Like I said, high res textures of whatever they are. They could, even just walking around and getting textures of the ground, walls, rust, anything that you can have that you shot that's high res is going to be super helpful in your post processing adventure. I did touch on a couple of things. Excuse me. I touched on flow when using your paintbrush. Flow is king. Opacity, it has its purpose, but no dice. It's all flow. So check that out. Also, blending modes. Get to know your blending modes. And blend if. Ooh. If you double click on a layer in Photoshop, this window will pop up, and to the bottom, there's a little section called blend if, and just more control when blending layers, compositing. More control is what you want when you're using Photoshop. Nuance, subtle, that's what it's all about. So that is custom flares. Okay, I'm gonna do one more of those, I think. I'm happy with those. I'm not like thrilled with those. So we'll have to see. Okay, I'm gonna do another episode right away because there's been some business developments, there's been some creative developments, and there were a few tough days in there also. This gig can be amazing and the best thing ever, and sometimes it can be really, really hard. And your mind can play tricks on you, and that little voice sometimes doesn't shut up. For now, that's a wrap on custom flares. We will see you, whatever, I don't know. We'll see you soon.